I'm continuing to work on the wiping mechanism and basically cleaned off the terminal so it gets a better contact, as well as just re-grease the spline. I then degreased the entire mechanism in here and then re-greased it back up again. And now just reassembling the entire system and making sure the terminals are all clean. Then installing this waterproof boot which covers it so it doesn't get wet. Now attaching the wiper motor to the wiper mechanism. Getting this the right way around is crucial.
What you're seeing here is the schematic diagram of a 1978 Australian Edition X19 on an iPad. The great thing about having it on the iPad is you can actually draw on top of it. And what I've done here is display the wiper relay modification. The wiper relay modification is used to increase the speed of the wipers. And it does this by taking a positive feed directly off the battery to the two relays and having a higher gauge wire, in this case 12 gauge, back to the wiper motor itself to provide more current. Then from here it goes back to the switch on the stalks and you end up having fast and slow. The reason you need to do this is otherwise all the power has to go through the ignition and then all the way around, and by doing that it's sharing the power with the lights and everything in the car. So this modification is a great one to increase the speed of the wiper motor and also just release some of the load off the actual ignition.
When I first got this car, it had this dodgy reservoir. Since then I've swapped it out for an original, but I have a new problem. The brake and clutch line I use is sweating. The reason being it was meant for .5, not for .3 oil. So now I've got to take the whole lot out and retreat that area. So now I need to degrease the entire area and then wash it out with some warm water. I use a scouring brush to brush off any excess paint and then vacuum the whole lot out. I then got this special paint designed for this area. It's a rust proofing paint as well. Not that there's any rust, but prevention is better than cure. Now I need to drop the steering column and then of course take out the actual pedal box itself. As you can see, I cut the hoses. This gave me an opportunity to strip the box again and get the whole thing re-powder coated. After 40 years, the spring has worn away the metal here. So a quick grind, a bit of a weld, a bit of shaping on the grind, and another grind, we have ourselves a fixed pedal. And then a powder coated version of the same thing. Make sure to grease up this bit because that's the bit that squeaks. So here's the spring, and no, you're not going to get a screwdriver and pull it across. This is how I do it. Get the spring and put it in a vise. Now bend it back and forth and put washers or coins in between the spring till you get enough length to slip the spring on. Once you've done that, you can now pull out the actual washers or coins and your spring will be in place. I'm going to be replacing quite a few items, so I'm going to take the wheel off. I need to undo the brake lines because they're going to get changed as well, and then of course unbolt the steering rack. There are 2 bolts on each side holding the steering rack in place. And then 1 bolt to undo the steering column. Then just simply slide it out the side. The one that was already in there had the original clips and also the original bellows. The rack below is one I prepared earlier. For an original steering rack, that bush is pretty good. I'll be replacing the front brake calipers with some new old stock ones I have. This car was already upgraded to Koni Red shocks, so I'm going to keep them and just reinstall them after I give them a good clean and inspection. The front discs are a bit old, so I'm going to replace them. I'm also going to replace all the bushes on the car, so everything has to come off. I'll also be replacing the brake lines because all the endpoints are damaged. So I found a new set online. The only thing is you need to take each piece out and then replicate it by kind of pushing it against the original one to get the right shape. With the shocks out, I can give them a good clean and then see if there's any damage or any oil leaks. But next time, I'll keep going on the bearings and the bushes. Thanks for watching.